choices. So now I can ask you, how strongly do you believe that you can be whatever you want to be? This is going to be very strongly, weakly.
Not possible.
Yeah, very weakly that you did, or you. I know we can do. We can do strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree. That's probably a better way of doing it. Like, so you can be whatever you want to be. Let's go. Wow. How do you predict this is going to come out?
I don't know. I hope most people put D. I mean, not D. B, which is D. That's confusing. No.
Oh, that's disagree. Disagree.
Yes.
You think most people are going to put this?
I hope. I don't know how to speak about
Well, then, wow, the class likes you. Yeah, that's the one. That's the modal response. Y'all disagree with this statement?
Wait, what was the question again?
It was, do you believe that you...
Do you believe you can be whatever you want to be?
Yes.
Yeah, then you would be over here.
Yeah, I was D. I was an A.
Okay, good. All right, most of y'all okay, but that is at least a. So does that get at what you were saying? How it is a common stereotype, but individually we may not think that is the case.
Why is it people?
Yeah, why do people believe?
Why is that people disagree? Because I know me, I'm a dreamer, and I believe that nobody can stop you. But if somebody says no, it's another person that say yes. And I believe in making your own door open for yourself. I believe that you can do whatever.
To set limitations on it.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even think there is a limitation. I believe you can go anywhere you want.
I'm gonna make a big circle and get to you. All right, so you know, respond to her.
Do you believe that disabled person can do something like this? Or some disabled people may not be able to do it?
I believe they can try.
Oh, and they can try, but you're not changing the
But
parameters
see, now
of
it's
the question.
you want a whole nother thing.
No. I would like.
Isn't that a whole nother question.
No, I would like to be a ballerina.
You can be a ballerina if you want to. If you work hard enough, you do class.
So if I fail, it's because I didn't work hard enough.
Not that, but you can be a ballerina. I mean, if you want to be a ballerina, you can.
I mean,
No, then it would go to, are you tall enough? Are you limber enough?
Just
Well,
the thing, you would limit, like if somebody says no, it's another person that will say yes.
I know. That's where we're.
You can start your own
Yes,
ballerina.
ma'am.
You can do it.
Yes, color guard.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you may really, really want to be a doctor, but if you're really bad at science, you can't do anything about that.
Then you would be a doctor of English.
I mean, like a medical.
I know what you meant. And then you go, oh, I'd like to be a PhD in English. No, there's this little dispute amongst the MDs and PhDs. Yes, sir.
I was going to say that saying you can, the only one stopping you is a fairly big limitation, actually. People can tend to be their own worst enemies. I want to get into med school, but video games.
I mean, that may be what she's saying, that, like if you really wanted med school, you could accomplish it.
You can really do it.
But like she's saying, if you're really bad at
Get you a
science,
tutor. Start
But
somewhere.
sometimes you're just not good at it.
Or
and
this-
that's
It's just
the way-
My thing is keep trying. Like, if you can do it.
you're great.
That there is a real difference in that kind of willpower between people.
Those are all valid things. Unfortunately, I need to move on. If we want to, like after class, we have a meeting, we can go get a couple beers and argue about this for hours. It'd take more than a couple. What? Have some deep conversations. Can people greatly improve their lot by their own self-effort? Can you do self-change at any point in your life? Right? So these are all part of, like any age, we're like, you can lose 50 pounds next week. This is part of our cultural idea. There's also some beliefs that are gendered. So you can have gendered beliefs or gender-neutral beliefs, right? So it need not be true for everyone, but you could say, I believe that women blah, or I believe that male blah. So it gives you examples of this. So one of our cultural beliefs, and this is not a universal, but it is certainly one of our cultural beliefs, is that, and we're going to come back to gender in a later lecture, is that there should be a histotype or a hair difference amongst the genders. And one major one we see is that our culture strongly says that women should shave, right? This is, I will, like, before I show you some data here in a second, I would like to put it into context. If you look at studies, something like 95% of people, or only 95% of people, ever have sex. So in our culture, it's like sex, 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 sex. In that context, look at the percentage, I don't know why it goes 120, look at the percentage of people females who shave. Our culture really pushes this. The percentage of women who shave their underarms, legs, pubic area, eyebrows, face. Our culture really pushes this. All right, so when you're looking at, so let's go back to you can do whatever you want. You could be a female and you could say in our culture, I'm not going to shave. Are you going to have an easy time?
No.
I mean, it's, what?
My sister actively does not shave. She's a big feminist, and she doesn't seem to have a hard time, but that is also her group of friends. It's
Yeah.
like that's just the same type of person.
The undergrad I went to was very much like that, and it was, if you shaved and you were female, you were giving into the male patriarchal structure, and, you know. But it's more just, it's very intriguing. And do we ever give a reason why women should shave?
I like smooth things.
Well, if women like smooth things, wouldn't they want you to shave?
No, men like smooth.
Oh, men like smooth
I
things.
think men should shave their legs.
You think men should shave their legs?
I think really
Wrestlers shave.
I think if a man shaved, I would feel like something's wrong. Like, are you like on the down low or something? Like, I probably wouldn't say that.
So if you, so she wants the guy to shave, you're thinking he's gay now.
I would. I'd be like, why you shaving? Like,
Like
what happened?
It wouldn't bother me.
I know me. That's what I would ask.
We already going for different kind of guys then, apparently. Moving right on along. Cultures also influence people's values. That is a shared conception about what is right or good. Like in our culture, it is right and good to, let's say, dream of owning your own home. That is a right and good in our culture. We think that is delectable. We like that. Cultures establish norms. These are written, unwritten rules about what is appropriate or inappropriate in given situations. I have I think cell phones are a great example of this norm issue, because a lot of people love to go to the movies, and apparently I don't go to the movies. I don't have the attention span for it. But what I hear is that people just don't know to turn their cell phone off. Like you're sitting in the middle of a dark theater and somebody's phone's going off. You really? An actual fight or?
Fight in the theater. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I mean, but we haven't really yet developed the cultural norm that, okay, their cell phones are out. I have this problem in classes. Like I co-teach a class with a guy named John Sloan, and he had not had a cell phone rule, and he's the chair of their department, and I'm lowly assistant professor, so I was like, I can't, whatever. And there's not one in classes. Like some professors, like I don't care. Some professors are on the other end. Obviously, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. But we don't really have a cultural norm about are cell phones okay in class. Do we have one? Are cell phones okay in church? What? If you're in church and the preacher's preaching and you whip out your cell phone and just...
If I saw that happening, if I was attending and I saw it, I would just find it so
People do it all the time.
In church?
Yeah, people take the church all the time.
Are you...
Yes.
You never do that?
I mean, it's not right. But
Okay, I don't go to church if y'all couldn't pick up on that.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I do not go to church. So that's why I didn't know if the rule had changed.
I mean, it's not good. It's not a good thing.
I'm actually really stunned. Like, I'm not religious, but if I were in a church for a wedding or some service,
and someone's on their cell phone on Facebook or something like that, especially.
their Facebook.
Have nobody in your friends list ever updated to be like, I'm so bored in church right now?
No one.
Oh god, it's on my Facebook like, oh my god.
Instagram, mother such and such and fell out. I was scared.
In the middle of church.
Holy Spirit.
Instagram, mother, a wig fell out.
What?
If they don't like being there and they use their phone, why would they even go?
I mean, I'm surprises me.
I would drug her.
So I mean, we might, if you ever go to a symphony, I encourage you to go to a symphony at some point. It is a visual and auditory experience. But you're sitting there and you're wondering, do I clap now? Do I not clap now? Like, when people used to go to the symphony, like we go to rock concerts. They would clap in the middle, they would eat, they would do things, they would play games in the middle. But now we sit there like, I want to stand up in the middle and go, yeah! I want to do air violin. But you can't do that. I may do that next symphony I go to. So very often these are taught through norming, where we tell people what is expected in a situation. Like we say, if you go to a concert, like I would say to someone, like, if you're going to church, put your phone away. Like, wow, that actually really surprises me. I'm gonna like, that's gonna be my new Facebook status. Like, what the? Like, I'm actually really surprised because I was thinking, because I had an issue last night in a class. This one student, she was sitting on her phone the whole time, and I had to get on to her 3 times. And so then we sent an email out because we didn't have a policy, so I couldn't kick her out of class. So we sent out an email where if you're doing this, you're out. And I was like, what are other examples that I might use? And I thought church, but if people are taking,
I mean, people actually look at their Bibles on their phones too now in church. So you really can't tell what they're doing.
wow.
You have iPads, everything.
Yeah, because there's the Bible app.
Yeah, the Bible app on it.
There's like this huge, like, no, I'm serious, but like, you touch it too, like it's the little.
Now that seems reasonable, but if you're in the middle of church and you're like, what's going on at the football game? All right, moving along. There's also mores and folkways. These are sort of other types of norms that we learn. So these might reflect mundane aspects, like what should you eat with? Like eat with your fork and not your knife. Or I remember one when I was growing up, I don't know if this one is still in effect, like we were told never to put our elbows on the table while eating.
What?
Is that one taught still?
Really?
My mom is also has manners management.
She is? Your mom? Oh. Is that what you say?
So it's taught, but it's ignored.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember we went to actually a church camp, ironically, and if you put your elbows on the table, they would go, elbows on the table, and you have to run around the...
Oh, I had to, yeah, when I went to church camp.
Yeah, you do that, you had to run around. Or guy code or girl code, like things that are not really written down, but it's like if one of your female friends breaks up with a guy, can you go out with them?
No, that is against all rules.
It's really strong, like no.
That is no. That's
dirty.
dirty.
That is like friendship ending.
Friendship over.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's vote on that. What did you say, guy?
But I mean, the guys don't care. They'll date, your mama, your sister, you date his mama.
Wait, I can't date your mother or your sister?
No.
What?
If we dated, no.
Oh, if we dated, I couldn't do it.
I might come up missing.
What happened?
He was dating everybody.
I mean, we can ask it like it's like a guy code, or sorry, in your gender appropriate code. We can sort of do this real fast. Males, yes. Males, no.
What's the question?
I was. Edit that out. All right. I guess we can say it for you. Is it okay for you to date one of your good friends' exes? So males?
I thought we made that clear.
Yes. Males, yes, that is okay. Females?
What did you ask?
Just do it.
So we
Politely.
modification. Let's say, there's going to be a lot of variables here, I realize, but let's say they dated seriously for a while. So there was a serious relationship. I don't know how it's going to turn out. What? You're right, there's a lot of variables. Let's though say it was a very serious relationship and there's still feelings, but you're like, like we would be perfect for each other. Like even though we broke up, your mom and I. Let's see. Where this is gonna go? Can we do this? So survey says, can we do it? Can we? Oh wow! I did not expect this. All the males are like, don't ask anonymous. Do you want to say like why yes? Is there some, you don't have to.
Well, I just had a change of heart, actually, because we were just talking about it. But my initial reaction was, no, that's not okay. But altogether, you did break up. You're obviously not wanting to be together. You shouldn't have a say anymore.
Cause
Whether
you
you're friends
wanted
or
him
not.
all along. So you was a dirty friend.
You may not
wanted
have
him,
done something that
man.
was true. You may not have wanted it.
This is the whole loyalty thing. I used to tell you about him, and I used to tell you about him, and now you want him? Yeah, because you know all the stuff I didn't do right.